Hello everyone, welcome or welcome back to the Eldenwood Craft channel, and more specifically to this, my roundup of what I've been making during the month of May here in the beautiful southwest of England. My name is Emma and it's lovely to have you here. I hope you've been well and had a very lovely crafty month. You will find all the usual links to the places that you can find me online, as well as to the things that I've been talking about during the course of this video in the description box below. I've got 2 finished objects to share with you today and 3 works in progress, as well as a short section on what I've been reading, and perhaps, if we're not going on too long, a little bit about what's going on in the shop. First of all, what am I wearing? Well, I'm very pleased to say I am wearing my newly finished Ranunculus. Well, it was newly finished in last month's episode, but I washed it, blocked it, and have worn it so many times since then. In fact, it's on its 2nd or 3rd washing now. I absolutely love it. So much so that you'll see another one later on. But yeah, it's just a really lovely, versatile, it's a lovely spring summer top. I made it from Drops Bell, which is a linen cotton viscose blend, and it's the perfect summer weight, makes the perfect summer weight fabric. I'll just do a quick standy uppy so you can see. I made size 3. Oh, I just love it, and I love this blue. I am not the biggest fan of garments that have got a lot of lace work at the top, but I will let it go for this one. Yeah, I don't know, it's a me thing. I don't really like seeing a bra underneath. I know I could wear a cotton camisole type thing underneath, but yeah, I don't have one in an appropriate colour, so I've got a black bra on. I don't know if you can see it, but anyway, that's the only really minor negative niggle that I have with this top. As I explained in the last episode, I didn't do the short rows at the front that the pattern calls for. I don't know if you can see, but there are short rows at the back, but the short rows at the front I omitted, and I'm really glad that I did that, because otherwise the neckline would be up here somewhere. So yeah, I'm really pleased with it. I love it. I've had so many compliments about it as well. So we will talk more Ranunculus in a short while, but first of all, let's go and look at the things that I have finished making. The first off, and in fact unusually for me, it's 2 shawls / scarves. So the first one is a really long-standing project that I started last summer. I can remember sitting out in the garden in the sunshine working on this in its early stages, and then I put it away and left it, and had been planning to finish it throughout the course of this year. And so I thought, right, May, let's get it done, free up the project bag, free up the needles, and it is done. And it is it's called the Sjalen Inga. I think that's probably how you pronounce it, but I may have got it wrong. It's a Swedish pattern, paid for pattern on Ravelry by Maria Roberts. The pattern is only in Swedish, but I used the facility of Google Translate to translate it into English. It was a bit of a challenge because obviously Google Translate is not a proficient knitter, and so there were plenty of abbreviations and short phrases that it didn't fully understand. So there were occasions where I had to use a little bit of brain work, but I got there. So the yarn I used, if I hold it up so you closely so you can see. So you can, well, let's just, the elephant in the room, this great big green stripe is obviously a mistake, but once it's all scrunched up around my neck, nobody's going to see that. So it's a green and white, well, I used a green and a white stripe, and I used an orange to I-cord. Oh, come on, Emma. I used an orange mini to add an I-cord around the edge. The white yarn is Drops Flora in their, like, their off-white colour, and the green was hand dyed by me when I was practicing yarn dyeing, and the orange similarly is dyed by me, just a one-off mini. The shawl is knit from tip to this end, alternating the green and white skeins, and then you add the I-cord at the end. It's a nice shape. Oh, I must stop holding it up like that. Keep still, Emma, keep still. It's a nice shape of a shawl. It wraps around nicely. Shall I pop it on? So I don't like to wear my shawls with lots of bulk here, but what I tend to do is to wrap it round and then tie it like that. Obviously, if I was going up properly, I would style it a bit more neater, but you get the idea. The final shawl weighs 176 grams, and I will look forward to wearing it in the winter. I don't think there's anything more I can say about that. If I have remembered to, I will leave a picture. I will have left a picture on screen so you can see the finished, the designer's photos, and you can see that I copied her directly because I was really taken by her styling when I saw it on Ravelry first time. Anyway, that's the Sjalen Inga, which translated means the Inga shawl. The second project that I finished is another shawl, or scarf, little scarf, and I shared this in last month's episode. It's the Open Skies shawl by Woolenberry, who is Janina Kallio. I'll pop a picture on screen again, and it's a paid for pattern, and yeah, here it is. It's a long, very long, airy, lacy scarf. This one finished off weighing, I did weigh it and I did make a note of it. Oh, 68 grams. I'll be honest, I prefer this lightweight shawl to a big woolly shawl like that one, but that's just personal preference. The yarn I used for this is one of my own hand-dyed yarns. It's my merino yak nylon base in the colourway School Jumper. I think I have one more skein left in my shop, but I'm not sure. Anyway, this is a really simple, memorable pattern. I can't remember how many rows the repeat is, it might be 12, but anyway, it's really simple to memorise, and it just creates just a really lovely, simple, lightweight and airy little scarf to wrap around your neck. And again, I would do that, little tie at the neck, and there we go. And doesn't it go nicely with my ranunculus? You can tell that I do rather like a navy blue or a dark blue. So yeah, and it just, this airy, oh, how many times can I use the word airy? This type of lightweight scarf is just, I love the feel of it around my neck. It's lovely. Well, what else can I tell you? I didn't do a great job of blocking it. The pattern, which is very well written, gives a schematic, obviously, as to how long and how deep it should be. I could not, for the life of me, match that. I didn't do a gauge swatch obviously, so I don't know if I'm on or off gauge, but I couldn't get the right width. It does obviously pull wider, but my blocking skills were not that great. But actually I decided in the end that doesn't really matter, because you're not really going to see it all when it's wrapped around your neck. So yeah, I'm just really pleased with that. I really do like Janina Kallio's patterns. I've knit 2 or 3 now, and most of them are in this sort of airy, lacy style. She does a lot of long rectangular shawls, scarves, which I like. She also does quite a few crescent-y shaped ones. But I think I'm going to make another of her shawls reasonably soon. So yeah, that's it for my finished objects this month. On to works in progress. Okay, first off, I have 3 bags. First off, a pair of socks. Not for me, but a pair of socks for my husband. He, I think I mentioned in the last episode, he had been trying on a couple of pairs of my socks that are not in use. Long story, not interesting enough for this podcast, and he really liked the feel of a hand knit sock on his feet, so I told him that I would very happily make him some socks for his wardrobe. And I have done so. I've knit him one and I'm working on the second. This is the yarn. It's a commercial yarn. I've got the ball band here. It's a bit messy. Fortissima colour from Schoeller and Stahl. It's a very basic 75-25 virgin wool and polyamide. You get, I'm imagining you get 400 odd meters, 420 meters to 100 grams. I have no idea where I picked this up from. It was in my sort of stash of commercial sock yarn, and I'm unlikely to use it for me, if I'm honest. So I thought I would use it for Dennis. And I have knit one sock. This is what it knits up like. Saying I wouldn't use it for me, it's quite nice actually. Browns and the greens. And I knit this on 2.25mm needles from the toe up. I normally knit my socks cuff down, but this is kind of like an experiment to see how much I can get out of a skein of 100 grams and sort of how high he likes his leg and that sort of thing. So I started with Judy's Magic Cast On. I did a regular wedge toe. I knit however many rows to get up to where I needed to put the heel in. Dennis is a size, gosh, is he a 9 or a 10? UK 9 or 10. I'm a 6, so there was quite a bit more knitting involved for his sock. And then I did a shadow wrap heel using the very helpful video and explanation from Denise of Earth Tones Girl. And then I just knit up the leg until it went as high as he wanted. And I did the leg and the top of the foot in this 5x1 ribbing all the way around. And I cast off, I didn't do a cuff because I don't think you really need one with a fully ribbed sock, but I cast off using Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. Is that right? Yeah, Jenny's stretchy bind off. And I had that much left out of a So it's a 100-gram ball of yarn and I split it into 2. So I had that much left out of the first 50 grams. And this sock weighs 44 grams. So if I had needed to, I could have gone up a bit more. I cast on the second sock last night whilst watching the England women's football team lose against the French on TV, and I did that much during the whole game. But yeah, so I will carry on working on that over the course of the next month, and yeah, he'll have a pair of socks. He's quite excited, I think. What else can I tell you? I'm using, as you would have seen, Chalgu red lace. I normally knit my socks on wooden DPNs. Why did I not do that with this one? I can't remember. Maybe I just fancied a change. But anyway. I don't think there's anything else to tell you on those socks. So we will put those away. I will put those away and move on to project number 2. So this is another little scarf. Get all that out. And turn the page on my notes just to make sure I get everything. Okay, so this is the Kaarina Shawl by Sari Nordlund. When I finished my Open Skies, I really fancied another little scarfy type thing. And I spent quite a long time thinking about or searching on Ravelry, trying to work out which one I fancied. I came quite close to casting on a Sophie scarf, but I've got a couple of those. There are a few in my shortlist, but then I saw a finished one of these on Instagram in a beautiful green yarn. I think it was on the Knit with Attitude feed, and that sealed it for me. So I wanted to use my own yarn, and shall I show you the yarn that I used first? Hang on one second. So I used a skein of this, which is my Headlights colourway. It's a very subtle DK weight yarn with tones of greys, and there's some browns in there and some speckles of yellow. I really like this colourway. Hasn't been a big seller, but that's alright because I will use it if no one else wants it. It has balled up into this. See some of the speckles there. And I have got, show you the right way around, untangle everything, has knit up into this. As you can see, it's cabled, and I haven't knit cables in the longest time. I'm just going to hold it up so you can see. Oh goodness, it's lovely. It has this beautiful long cable. Oops, sorry. It has this beautiful long cable that runs the length of it, and that is beginning to be repeated again down here, and then the rest of it is sort of like travelling cables, I think you say it. I'm going to put a picture up here so you can see what it looks like in the pattern photos. But I'm absolutely delighted with it. It was very challenging at first, yeah, because as I said, I hadn't knit cables, got stray hair, hadn't knit cables for an awfully long time, and it has taken me up until only fairly recently to work out how to read the chart efficiently so that I understand what all the different cable symbols mean without having to go back and look at the sort of the glossary and the explanation about how to knit the different types of cables. But now that I've got that, I am well, I wouldn't say I'm motoring, but I am going much quicker. I have made some pretty obvious mistakes in it. I'll hold it there just so you might be able to see them. I'm not going to point them out, but they are there. But I don't mind, because again, it's going to be wrapped around my neck, and if anyone's looking that closely, then they're welcome to spot the mistakes. But the mistakes are becoming less frequent the more I get on with knitting it. What notes have I written? Yeah, it's a fully charted pattern, so if you're interested in knitting in it but can't do charts, then steer clear, because there are very few written instructions. I've talked about the yarn, talked about how I manage the cables. Shall I show you how I'm managing the pattern on my trusty clipboard? I have I always print out my pattern when I print a pattern out, which I don't always do, but I print it out 2 pages to a full page, if that makes sense, and then cut it in half. But I printed out the charts fully, and I just sit with my clipboard and cross them off as I go. I got a decent, well, I'm going to put a photo there so you can see. This scarf comes in 2 sizes, the small and the large, and I'm knitting the small, and I'm using my favourite needles, which are these Chalgu. These are the Chalgu spin. I think these are the spins. I've got a full set of Chalgu spins and a full set of twists. But I really like these bamboo shorter tips. Yeah, so just really happy with it, and I can see this being finished fairly soon, and if it all goes well, I'd be quite tempted to make another one. Yeah, Sari Nordlund seems to be, I don't know if you found this, but she seems to be definitely gaining in popularity. I've seen an awful lot of people knitting her patterns recently, more so than I have been aware of, maybe even sort of 6 months ago or so. So she does a lot of cabled work, sort of very classically styled. Yeah, there we go. So that is the Kaarina Shawl. I will put that away, and I'll come back with my third current work in progress. Oh, before I go on to talk about whip number 3, can I just say a huge thank you to all of those of you who commented or sent me messages after last month's video when I talked about hand pain that was related to knitting. A number of you got in touch to say that you too had had hand pain, knitting related hand pain, and had talked about the use or using hand exercises to help manage the pain. And some of you left links or told me about where you'd found good hand exercise resources. So a huge thank you to you. I really appreciated that, and I have started doing hand exercises myself once a day, and it really, really does help. So if you are finding that you've got hand pain as a result of knitting, then I do highly recommend doing a few minutes of hand exercises every day. There are loads of resources out there online, but I'm just going to flag up one for you. Lovely Marta of Marta Mitchell Designs. Have I got that right? I made a note. Hang on. Marta Mitchell Design. She's got a YouTube channel here, and one of the videos that she put out was a short little video about hand exercises, maybe about a year ago. I will link it in the show notes, but it's really worth. That's the one I've started following. There's only, there's like 4 or 5 exercises that take a couple of minutes to do. Yeah, so it's really helped. So thank you to you all, and thank you to Marta for doing a helpful video. Right, on to whip number 3, and I've already talked about this project. I've got another one on the go. It's my second Ranunculus. I'm afraid I'm being really boring because I am knitting it in the exact same yarn. Drops Flora in the colourway 03. It's sort of a very light beige colour. Light beige, off-white. If you remember from, oh, maybe, was it last episode or was it the episode before? I was wearing my Thea top knit in this yarn. I do like Drops Flora, so and if you find something you like, then you should use it. These are 50-gram balls, and I got these. I would normally buy my Drops yarn from Wool Warehouse, but they didn't have this colour in stock when I went shopping last time. But I found a really lovely little small independent business called Knit, I cannot remember, and I haven't got anything to tell me here. I'll put the details down below, but I ordered them from this shop, and they came beautifully packaged with a nice sachet of tea, wrapped in brown paper, nice environmentally friendly, and I will use this shop again because it was just lovely. It just felt like a really nice shopping experience. So yeah, really lovely. So anyway, I'm knitting the exact same size 3 in that colour, and this is the progress I have made. Where's the front, where's the back? Right, there we go. So, oh, it's lovely. I have got to the point where I have finished the texture and the lace, and I am now working on the raglan increases. I love this pattern so much. It's funny, isn't it? I hadn't turned my nose up at it in the past, but because of the open lace work around here, and the fact that so many of the images that you see of this, particularly in the pattern itself and in the Ravelry photos, the garments are so oversized and sort of diaphanous, and that's just not my style, you know. So I'm really pleased that I found a way to knit it in a way that I like, and I will definitely be making more of these after I finish that. But the main thing about this is that so many of you left messages after the last episode when I showed this as a finished object, and also when I showed it on Instagram. I did a little reel of me sitting in the garden reading wearing this, and so many people commented that they'd really like to make one but had either never got round to it or were a little bit unsure about how to proceed with it because there are so many different sizes, or they didn't want a woolly one, and that having seen this, then they're more inclined to make one now. And there were also some comments in the comments section after last month's video saying, oh, maybe we should all make one. And that got me thinking about maybe it's time for us to have a knit along or a make along. And I thought about, should we have a Ranunculus make along? But then I thought maybe that's a little bit too limiting because not everyone wants to make one. Plenty of you have made plenty of them and maybe don't need another one, etc, etc. So I thought perhaps we could have a make along, so it can be any craft, and it's about making something that everyone else seems to have made but you haven't. So like everyone else seems to have made the Ranunculus, and I thought I was the last person on earth to have made one, but clearly not. But it could be, you know, it could be a pattern that everyone else seems to have made, like the Sophie scarf, like a granny square, a granny wrap, like a Tolster tee. It could be a category of something, like if you've never knit socks, or you've never knit a garment. Or it could even be a craft if you're a knitter and have never crocheted, if you're a crocheter and never knitted, if you've never sewn something to wear, if you have never tried, I don't know, off the top of my head, paper quilling but want to. I mean, I'm not sure paper quilling is that much of a, anyway. So I thought we could have a sort of last to the party make along. Very loose, and I'll run it in 2 places. I'll run it in my Ravelry group, which I'll have to dust off the doors to the Ravelry group because it hasn't been used in yonks. But I will start a thread in the Ravelry group. There will be just 1 thread, so it will be fully chat away, post your finished objects, post your works, post your progress, ask questions, all that sort of thing, chat away, and I'll pull a prize at the end of the make along from that thread. I don't know how many prizes there'll be yet, I haven't worked all that out, but there will be prizes. I will rustle together some prizes. So use the Ravelry group, and or post your whips and your finished objects in Instagram if you use Instagram. Now, the traditional way of running a make along in Instagram is to use hashtags. Hashtags are not reliable anymore because when you search for a hashtag, you don't always pull up all the posts under that hashtag for whatever reason. The irritation that is currently Instagram has decided that that's the way it's going to be. But if you tag me, my details are underneath. If you tag me in your post, whether that be a normal grid post, a reel, story, or whatever, I can save that to my to a collection in my private collection on my in my account, and then I will see everyone's post. But that only counts if you have got a public facing Instagram account. If you've got a private one, I can't see it, I'm afraid. There will also be a hashtag just in case, and I'll put the hashtag on the screen. It's going to be hashtag EC last to the party Mal, but the important thing in Instagram is to tag me. If you don't use Ravelry or Instagram but want to take part, then you can email me your finished object photos to the email in the description box, and I'll pop a post in Ravelry on your behalf. Right, does that all make sense? I will start the make along today. It's the 1st of June today, so that makes sense, and I will run it until the end of August, so we'll have 3 months, so that gives you plenty of time to make something a large size project, or to take your time with something small, or you know, whatever. There might be quite a steep learning curve if you're trying something totally new, but anyway, so June through to August, chat away in Ravelry. Another way that you could use the Ravelry thread is if you've got questions, because I'd be pretty sure that unless you're making something really obscure, which is kind of not the point of this, it's to make something that everyone else seems to have made. But if you've got questions, I'm pretty sure there'll be someone who's also joining in that would be able to help you and answer your questions. As I said, I'll rustle up some prizes that will be drawn at the end of the make along. Oh, and just a warning about scammers. I'm sure you've seen other YouTubers talking about this. There will be no prize draw until the very end of the Makealong. I will announce verbally the winner in the September video, and I will ask that you contact me via email or direct message or however to organise your prize. There are scammers around that contact you directly in the comment section of a YouTube channel saying, oh, you've won a prize, send me postage and I'll get your prize out, that sort of thing. That will not happen here. I will contact you and I will, no, I won't contact you. I'll ask you to contact me and I will post your prize out to you. You do not have to pay anything. So just to get that clear. Does that all make sense? Have I covered everything? So to sum up, make something that everyone else seems to have made but you haven't, and we'll use that loosely. Oh, you do not have to finish what it is you're making. All participation in the thread, in the Ravelry thread and on Instagram will count towards the prize draw. We'll just keep it nice and relaxed. Hosting on Instagram and Ravelry, no separate chat and finished object thread, chat away. I'm not very good in the Ravelry group, I will say this up front. I kind of purge comments once every few weeks, so but I'll try and be better this time. Yeah, so there we go. So let's have a make along. Who's up for it? And I will see you on Instagram and in the Ravelry group. That's exciting. I haven't run a make along for such a long time. I hope some of you want to take part. Anyway, so there we go. So those are my three finished up, three works in progress for the month. My Ranunculus, my husband's socks, and my Kaarina Shawl. And those are my plans really for the next few weeks. I want to get those three projects finished. If I do manage to get those finished, I don't know what I want to make next. I suppose I will cast on another little shawl. I'm waiting for the Tolster tank top to be, or the Tolster vest to be published. So if that coincides with finishing my Ranunculus, I might make one of those. Excuse me. But we'll see. I need to be inspired by something, I think. Okay, on to what I've been reading. Don't worry, I haven't got as many books as last time. That was a monster book section last time. But in the month of May, I've got 4 books that I can tell you about. I finished listening to Agatha Christie's The Body in the Library. I was listening to that on Audible. It was narrated by Stephanie Cole, I think, off the top of my head. I finished it right at the beginning of the month, so I can't quite remember. But if it wasn't Stephanie Cole, it was someone like her. It was great. I've really fallen in love with Miss Marple, so I will be reading the next one. I read the first one, which was The Murder at the Vicarage, and I listened to The Body in the Library. I preferred the physical reading experience for some reason. I found it slightly easier to follow all the different characters, and I could flick back and, you know, that sort of thing. But either way, both books were lovely, and I'll be looking forward to book number 3. I don't know what book number 3 is. Is it The Moving Finger? I'm not sure. I was also reading in the last episode Wolf Hall by Hilary Mantel. This was a chunkster of a book. It's 650 pages, and I finished it a couple of days ago. I have so many thoughts about this that I'm still sort of processing. I loved it. I absolutely loved it. It was a hard book to read in that stylistically it was very different to anything I've read before. It was very dense, and the language was very dense, very rich, and there's an awful lot going on. If you're not aware of the book, it follows the rise of Thomas Cromwell in the court of Henry VIII over the period of time that Henry wants to annul his marriage to Catherine of Aragon and take up with Anne Boleyn. So it follows that short period of time. It starts with Thomas as a young boy. It then moves to his work with Cardinal Wolsey, and by the end of the book, if I remember rightly, he is working. I mean, he does so many different things, Thomas Cromwell, but he is in the king's favour. So he's working very closely with the king. I love Thomas Cromwell as a character. I don't know if you're meant to. I think he's quite a schemer. But I fell in love with the BBC adaptation a few years ago of Wolf Hall had Mark Rylance playing Thomas Cromwell, and that over the years, his character and the way he played Thomas in that series kept coming back into my mind. And every time, so this follows Thomas. I think Thomas is pretty much on every page. Thomas, it sounds like I know him. But yeah, it's like you're in the room with Thomas on every single page. It's incredible. Yeah, my mind is sort of slightly blown with it. I didn't understand everything, I'll be perfectly honest, and there was quite a lot of, there was a lot of narrative around the Reformation, is that right? Gosh, see, even my brain is not quite clear on a lot of things, and the politics of the time, and Henry becoming the head of the Church of England, that sort of thing. So didn't follow all the very minute detail that this book covers. Sorry, I've got an itchy nose. All the detail that this book covers around those subjects. Oh, I really enjoyed it. It took me over a month to read. I found I could read sort of about 20 pages at a time and then had to put it down, but I always wanted to pick it up again. So yeah, it was amazing, really good. And I will be picking up the second book in the trilogy at some point, but I need a bit of a break from the writing as much as anything. I have given it 5 stars on Goodreads. Even though the lack of being able to follow and understand something is a negative, but not too much of a negative that it distracts from how amazing that book is. There's also a lot of, Thomas Cromwell, there's so much dry wit and irony and sarcasm in the way he talks and thinks and sees things. It's lovely. I chuckled quite a few times. So, finished that. So I finished my audiobook and I finished my physical book. So then I started to listen to The Tower by Flora Carr. This is a newly published book. I'm only half an hour in or so. I'm enjoying it. And it's the story of Mary Queen of Scots as she is being taken to her imprisonment in Lochleven Castle, and she is being taken with 2 of her chambermaids, a French lady called Cuckoo, Marie de Courcelles, I think her name is, so she's known in the book as Cuckoo, and a Scots lady called Jane. And it's only really just sort of got into them being locked in the tower, and yeah, can't really say any more than that. It's being narrated by Kristen Atherton, who has narrated a couple of books that I've listened to before, I think. Or I know. I can't remember which ones though, but she's such a good narrator. She's very considered and thoughtful in the way that she narrates, and I really like it. So yeah, so far that's got a lot of promise. And then the book that I started yesterday, sitting in the end of May evening sun with a lovely glass of vodka, fizzy water and a couple of slices of orange juice is this one. The Offing by Benjamin Myers. And this, I hate to sound like a broken record, but this is just wonderful. It follows a young man who's just come back from the Second World War to I think he lives up in Durham, and he decides to go on a walk. Now this is about the third book I've read recently where people go off on a walk. Yeah, but Robert, the young man, is very affected by his experience of being at war. He needs to be in nature, so he goes off on a long walk, and he ends up down at I think it's Robin Hood's Bay. Yeah, Robin Hood's Bay. He sort of stumbles across an older lady called Dulcie, who lives on her own, and the book is about how the development of their relationship. Now I don't know if it's relationship as in a romantic relationship or just their friendship, but the writing is just lovely. His descriptions of the scenery that he's walking through, the nature that he sees, it just is making my heart melt. I absolutely love it. It's the first book I've read by Benjamin Myers. I've seen quite a few people on BookTube talk about him, and about how lovely this book and about how well he writes, and yeah, wholly accept that he is a good writer. I'm not very far in, I'm 50 odd pages in, but this has got very high potential to be one of my favourite books of the year. So there we go, it's been a good reading month. Right, that is everything. Very quickly, just what's going on with the shop. Well, I am working through some made to order project bags, which I've got here. They will be finished next week and shipped out, and that will be me up to date with all my project bags. I've got a handful of project bags still in stock, but not many. But most of my bags are now available on a made to order basis, as well as being available in stock when I make them. Turnaround time for made to order bags is around a maximum of about 4 weeks. I am also currently working on a brand new bag style, which is exciting, and I am going to be bringing out the next in the Eldenwood exclusive fabric range, not fabric range, but fabric. I am going to ask, I think, my newsletter subscribers to vote on which fabric they like best from a choice. So that request will probably go out in the next week to 10 days. So if you're interested in getting an early in on seeing what the fabric is, then you can sign up for my newsletter, which I send out a couple of times a month. One is a chatty one about what's been going on and things that I recommend and what's happening in the shop, and the other one is more of a salesy one. But it'd be lovely to have you on the list. You can sign up down below, it's free, and you get a 10% discount on your first online order. So that's going on. I am also about to start work on the next yarn collection. It's going to be a small collection of maybe 4 or 5 different colourways, but that will be coming out at some point in June. And in between all that, I'll be making ready to ship and made to order bags. So busy, which is very good. Coming up to the 3rd year anniversary of me doing Eldenwood Craft full time, which is really exciting. I have been busy in the shop pretty much from day one. I've rarely had a day where I've had to think, or I've never had a day in those 3 years where I've had to think I've got nothing to do and sort of panic sets in. That hasn't happened. You guys have kept me really busy, and I am so very grateful for that, so thank you. So yeah, 3 years since we left the southeast, 3 years being up or across here in Somerset, and it's been lovely. It'll be 3 years in August that we made the move, so yeah, that's exciting. Anyway, I am going to say goodbye to you now, let you go, let you get on with your day. Thank you ever so much for watching until the very end. I really do appreciate that. I hope you found something that you've enjoyed. Give me the thumbs up if there is. Subscribe if you are not already subscribing me. All the likes and subscribers and comments in the comment section also really let YouTube know that this is a video that people are enjoying, and it will therefore push it out to other people, and it would be lovely to have more of you in the clan. So until the beginning of July, goodness, we're in June, that's amazing. I will say goodbye. I will wish you a very happy crafty month, and if you want to carry on the conversation in the comments, please do so. I'll speak to you very soon. Goodbye.